Hi, I'm Ruth Shapira, and I'm happy you decided to be here. Welcome to this episode of Inner Judaism, a podcast where you experience the spiritual beauty of Judaism and the meaning it has for your life. In this episode, we'll explore the idea of names just a little bit. I say little bit because this idea of names and naming is really very big, especially in the Jewish tradition. We'll begin at the beginning with Bereshit, Genesis. We'll go into some depth, and I hope you'll join me. Ready? Let's learn the deeper spiritual meaning of this concept. First, find a comfortable place to sit where you won't be interrupted. And you know by now, turn off or tune out other distractions, but turn on the portion of your brain that will be open to hearing new things, open to new ideas and new ways of thinking. I think it's important to be in the present moment, so let's just take a minute and notice your own breath. On the inhale and the exhale, notice your chest rising and falling, and relax into the rhythm of your own breath. And do this a few more times. Let's begin. The idea of things having names begins pretty quickly in the Torah and the second chapter of Bereshit in Genesis. After Adam was commanded to work and watch the garden by God, Adam was given the job of naming. We read in Genesis, and God, Adoshem, formed out of the earth, min ha'adamah, all the wildlife of the field and all the birds of the heavens, and brought each to the human to see what he would call it. And whatever the human called each living creature, that would be its name. So Adam was given the wisdom to know each animal, their tasks, and their role in the world, in order to give each one a name that would remain for eternity. So let's ask ourselves a question. Why is this fact so important to mention? Why is this, one of the first tasks that Adam has been given, so important? We could think about the responsibility of a parent in choosing a name for their child, which is usually a big deal. And when you name something, you take responsibility for it. You are a part of it, and it is connected to you. And what are the greater implications of this when you think about your own name? The spiritual idea behind this is that you were given a Hebrew or a Jewish name. That name has cosmic implications, and there's a reason that you have the name you have and no other. But we're going to begin first with the Torah, and we'll get back to that. The Hebrew Bible offers so much information about names and what they represent, beginning with Adam, which has so many layers of meaning embedded right in the name. Adam is referred to in our Torah as Ha-Adam. So it doesn't exactly mean one person, but Ha-Adam represents all of humanity. Therefore, the Torah says Ha-Adam and not just Adam. But the name Adam, spelled in Hebrew, Aleph, Dalet, and Mem, offers us so much insight into who we are as a part of the human race. Let's just get into this because there's so much more that we can say. First, Adam was created from Adamah, as all the other creatures. Adamah. It sounds similar, right? Adamah to Adam. Adamah means earth in Hebrew. So think about that. What is earth? Well, you could think of it as simply dirt, and that would be a little insulting. Why would humanity be created out of dirt like the animals? But there's something beyond this when we think about the names. First, Earth represents pure potential. Once something is planted in the earth and given time and attention, nurturing and love, it sprouts into something alive. The same is true of us. Given time, nurturing, and attention, we can reach untold limits. It's a combination of what we have inside us and what we're taking from the environment around us. That's the true definition of what it means to be human. But the animals were also created out of Adamah, right? But we don't just operate like the animals on instinct. There's something else special that we need to learn about the name Adam. In the name Adam is the very word for our life force. The Hebrew name for blood is dam. So, while creatures with circulatory systems share the feature of blood, what exactly is it that makes us so special? As we learned in the previous episode in this podcast about truth, an aleph in front of a word often represents the name of God. So the very name for Adam begins with an aleph. And from this we learn that there is an element of God within us, embedded in who we are. We are defined in this way as beings with a spiritual nature, and we have a sense of that connection. We feel it. We seem to know it. We're not simply made up of blood cells, muscles, and tissues, and all things physical. We have a spiritual component to us. We have a soul. If you have a Hebrew or Jewish name, think about its meaning for your own life. If you don't have a Hebrew name or don't know it, you may want to find out what it is and learn how it's spelled. Try writing it out and appreciate the beauty of the Hebrew letters. Each letter contributes to your essence. As a people, when we were in exile, the very mark of our commitment was our ability to keep our Hebrew names. And in spiritual terms, your name is your connection, your channel to the divine. You can invoke your Hebrew name when you want to get to the root of who you are, where you come from, who you are connected with. Not only when and if you are called to the Torah, or when someone prays for your health, although English names are used as well, but there's a tradition that verses that begin with the same letter as your name are significant to you. You may want to discover some of this. In Tehillim, in Psalms, Psalm 119, there are sets of verses that begin with a letter of the Hebrew alphabet. And you can find the verses that begin with the letter that your name begins with. The psalm speaks about those who delight and live by the Torah. But the very first step is just to feel comfortable using your name. It's part of what is so special about you. And there is so much that is special about you. In fact, I'd like to know more about you, and I'd love for you to fill me in. I've learned a little bit about you through analytics and things like that, but I really don't know you, what you've liked or what you have not liked about the podcast or these episodes, or what I can do better. Please write to me at ruthschapira@innerjudaism.com. Thank you for listening and for involving yourself in the spiritual path of engagement and seeking out the deeper meaning Judaism has for you. If you've liked what you heard, I hope you'll revisit, and please decide to rate this podcast so I'll know how I'm doing. Wishing you a glorious day and the ability to make this day better than yesterday.